Let's bring in Tennessee Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, welcome.
Good to see you, Mike. Thank you.
So this government shutdown's now in month number 2. We have the air traffic controllers are struggling with no pay. There are concerns about emergency food benefits. What's the impact in the great state of Tennessee?
And Tennesseans indeed are frustrated with what the Democrats are carrying out as they continue with this Schumer shutdown. And the Tennesseans that I have talked to, and I was at the UT-Oklahoma game yesterday, and believe you me, I talked to a lot of people. They want to see the government back open. They want to see responsible spending. They also have been very specific about saying, do not let the Democrats supercharge Obamacare by saying that they're going to be ending the subsidies. Tennesseans are smart. They know different. They know the subsidies are permanent. They know the argument is over this plussed up Biden COVID credit bonus that was put on the Obamacare subsidies, where they took off the income caps and they let people that were making over $500,000 a year get a subsidy. And people are saying, put a stop to this, get the spending under control. They support President Trump. They support Republicans. They think the Democrats are acting selfishly and foolishly. And I think when the Democrat House Whip stepped up and said, we know people are going to suffer, but that gives us leverage. And Tennesseans, I will tell you this, they have shown up in droves at churches, doing food drives, supporting food banks, making certain that people that should be receiving SNAP benefits, that federal workers that are working without pay are going to be able to have access to food. And I'm very grateful. We are the volunteer state, and we have truly stepped up during this time.
Senator, we have elections in New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia on Tuesday. Yeah. Obviously, a tremendous number of federal employees in Northern Virginia. Do you think there will be a sudden change of heart on the government shutdown after those folks go vote?
I think that the fact that the air traffic controllers and the AFGE came out in opposition to the Schumer shutdown and have called out the selfishness of the Democrats during this process and have pointed out that these Obamacare subsidies don't even expire. That plus-up portion doesn't even expire until the end of the year. I think that there are Democrats who are a bit embarrassed by the way Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have led during this. And they also know that the Democrats have tilted to the far left of their party. And there are some Democrats that say it's time for this to be put aside and get back to work.
There's a report left-wing Antifa agitators are posting a hit list of reporters in Portland following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. How alarming is that?
It is terribly alarming. And for people that say Antifa does not exist, that is beyond me. You do have this organization. They are very well funded, and you have these Antifa cells, and for them to be producing hit list is indeed alarming. And Mike, one of the things that does concern me is the uptick in violence against federal law enforcement and I.C.E. That's increased over 8,000% this year. And I have that Protecting Law Enforcement from Doxxing Act, which we are trying to get through Senate Judiciary Committee. That needs to get to President Trump's desk. So we do name it a felony and go after these individuals that are doxing law enforcement and their families.
Some of your colleagues think they've uncovered a Biden administration enemies list through the Arctic frost investigation. Here's your colleague, Eric Schmidt, with my colleague, Peter Doocy, a short time ago, and I'll get you to react to it.
We're just getting this information right now because of whistleblowers. If President Trump wouldn't have won, all this stuff would be buried, but whistleblowers have come forward. We need Watergate-style hearings for months on this to continue that investigation. There ought to be probably charges brought, eventually resignations.
Watergate-style hearings, what are you thinking, Senator?
I agree with that, and I have been encouraging Chairman Grassley to move forward. We should immediately call Judge Boasberg in front of us. He's the one who signed these subpoenas against me and the other 9 Republicans that were subpoenaed. Our phone records were subpoenaed. And you know, Mike, we don't know what else they got. Did they get banking records? Did they do opposition-style research on us? And exactly what were they doing? We also need to call the CEOs of these wireless companies in front of us. Verizon rolled over and complied. AT&T fought back. AT&T did not release records. But you know, the fact that Judge Boasberg would have put a non-disclosure order on top of the subpoena and said, well, I fear that these senators may destroy evidence or tamper with evidence, or they may intimidate witnesses. You know, to insinuate such is, of course, something that is a violation. And it is our First and Fourth Amendment rights, and the separation of powers, and the speech and debate clause, and, of course, the Stored Communications Act that have been violated. And, of course, we know there were organizations that they went after the banking records of those organizations. So this is deep and wide. It is far deeper and wider than Watergate. It is far more intrusive and invasive. 197 subpoenas are what we know so far, and 430 individuals that they were going after, individuals and organizations. So we do need to get going on this. We need to do it sooner rather than later.
You're very concerned about Google's AI platform targeting conservatives with fake allegations and fake news stories. What's the latest on that? Well,
we had a hearing, and of course I think everyone was stunned when Erickson, who is a VP at Google, said that these were hallucinations from Gemma. And I talked specifically about things that were said about Robbie Starbuck, who is a conservative thought leader, and also me. And when you look at what Gemma is doing, if this is hallucinating, then you take it down. If it's got a bad drug, bad info, you put it into rehab, but you don't let it continue to spit out false information. You think about people that are doing research, students that are doing research, and the misinformation that is in the system, they need to take it down immediately. I have a letter into Sundar Pichai, who's the CEO of Google, to further discuss this and to get Gemma taken down until they can correct this.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, many thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Coming up, DH